Thanks for the opportunity to address you here at the annual Mayor's Rally. It's always my pleasure to return to Toowoomba. I was here 3 years ago, and suddenly I must report that things have got even worse since I was here last time. So if you're still recovering from my last visit, I hate to tell you, but things have got worse since then. I'm going to give you an example. Why would I show an image like this to such a gathering of fine people? Well, this image was shown to me by a Catholic school principal in a primary school in Sydney. She told me the story that went with it. She said that the 6-year-olds in that primary school were given an in-class assignment, and they were told to use their app, the app Pic Collage, and their iPads to make pictures of their favourite things and then present them to the front of the class, at the front of the class. And this is what the 6-year-old boys produced. And one little boy was so proud of his work, so proud of the work, he stuck his face right in the middle. Now, these little boys didn't think they'd done anything wrong. These little boys didn't think that that might be inappropriate, because those little boys have grown up in a shadow cast by pornography. Pornography is the wallpaper of their lives, their formative environment. They're being exposed at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, and then we express surprise that they would create images like this. Why are we surprised? Look at what we've allowed. Look at the diet we're feeding our boys. I'm going to give you 3 recent examples that parents have told me of how their child was exposed to pornography. Shrek. Little boys being told, have a look at the funny Shrek video. When they have a look at the funny Shrek video of their favourite Disney cartoon character, they see Shrek engaging in sex acts with little boys just like them. The kids all know about the funny Shrek video. That's how they became exposed to porn-themed violent acts when they went to check out their favourite Disney character. The image top right is a very popular game for children called Roblox. And in this game, the child has an avatar that acts out for them. 7-year-old girl says to Mummy, "Mummy, why are all the little boys' characters attacking my little girl character?" And Mummy has a look, and the boys are raping the girl avatar, the girl character, in a child's game. The image down the bottom, cupcakes. Why would I show you cupcakes? Mother told me her 9-year-old daughter wanted to make cupcakes. So she put cupcakes into the search engine on the family computer, and what came up was a porn star called Cupcakes, number 1 in the item in the drop-down menu after the child searching for a cupcake recipe. They're just 3 recent examples of how children who were not looking for porn, but porn found them. You see, it's not a matter if our children will see porn, it's a matter of when. And we have to face this reality. A lot of parents say, my child wouldn't go looking for porn. Well, parent, maybe you're wrong. But even if you're right, porn is looking for your child. This is the first generation to grow up seeing rape and sexual violence before even losing their virginity. The research on this is solid. The research tells us that when men are exposed to images that objectify women, they are more tolerant of sexual harassment and more tolerant of interpersonal violence. Now, boys don't come into the world like this. We are socialising them to see violence as erotic, to see violence against women as arousing. On the one hand, we say we care about addressing violence against women. On the other hand, we're allowing the $150 billion US a year porn industry to prey on our children with no limits, no regulation, no proof of age requirements before a child enters a porn site, a sadomasochistic site, a rape site, an incest site, bestiality sites. I'm just naming some of the most popular porn sites. Nothing to protect our children. This is an entirely unprecedented assault on the healthy sexual development of our children. This is an act of global child abuse, and we've all allowed it to happen. What a tragedy. The stories I'm hearing are getting worse. They're getting worse younger. We're seeing rates of child-on-child sexual abuse at levels never before seen in history. Children acting out sexually on other children. I'm going to give you 4 examples that came to my Facebook page over a 48-hour period. I'm sorry these are confronting, but this is the reality. My 10-year-old daughter, this is a Canberra grandmother, was approached by a boy while waiting for the school bus and asked, "Do you do arse?" My 8-year-old found a note in her school bag which read, "Ready for sex?" An 8-year-old boy told my 8-year-old daughter he wanted to F you hard. A 10-year-old boy told my 10-year-old daughter that he was going to break in and rape her. That's just a selection of what is the messages that are coming to me. How much worse is it going to get if we don't do something about it? And commendations to Toowoomba. This should be replicated all around the country, right? Where cities like yours say, no, not on our watch. We are going to do something to fight this. The stories are getting worse, as I've said. This is just a sample of stories girls are telling me everywhere I go. They describe being sexually harassed at school or on the school bus on the way home. Now get this, I was at a school in your state that had just been forced to buy a new school bus. Why is that significant, you may ask? Well, it's significant because the girl said, we are not going to ride on the school bus with boys anymore. We want our own bus to get home safely, to get home without being groped, to get home without having photos taken up our skirts, down our blouses, to get home without having sexist jokes made about our bodies or demands for naked selfies. The school had to sexually segregate the buses. You see where we are up to, friends. Girls being ranked at school on their bodies compared to the bodies of porn stars. I have Year 7 girls asking if stalking is romantic because they all saw 50 Shades of Grey, didn't they? Released on Valentine's Day. This is what we're teaching girls romance looks like, being stalked. When they ask me that question, I say, no, you'll probably end up in your local women's refuge with all the other victims of stalking. This is not romantic. This is what girls tell me, this is word for word. Having your bum grabbed or breast touched as you go through crowded corridors every single day. Being asked for head oral sex by boys during recess or lunch break. Having boys rub their genitals against you while passing you in the classroom or corridor. Being called a snitch, frigid, or a dog if you speak up or complain about any of these things. I had a Year 7 teacher tell me she was curious as to what the girls and the boys talk to each other about. She asked the girls, what did the Year 7 boys talk to you about? The girls replied, porn. She said, surely not. The girls said, yes, they just want to talk to us about the porn they watched the night before. The teacher didn't believe them. She went and asked the Year 7 boys, boys, what do you talk to the girls about? They said, porn. The porn we watched last night. No attempt to hide it or disguise it. This is where we are up to. Being told by a boy, you are a group project, meaning a wider gang of boys were planning to get you alone, despite being known to be a rape survivor, having rape jokes and taunts made to upset you. Messages appearing on social media when you get home saying, your ass looks so good today, or negative or insulting comments about sexual features or threats to rape you, being asked out as a joke. From the New Zealand Herald, sexual violence and non-consensual sex rising due to porn. This is only going to get worse. And when the Australian Women's Weekly writes on this, you know we've got a problem. Growing up fast, why 12-year-old girls are having sex rougher and earlier. Possibly not the Women's Weekly that some of the older generations here may recall, certainly not the one that my grandmother was reading. Why 12-year-old girls are having sex rougher and earlier. The Australian Psychological Society reports that adolescent boys are estimated to be responsible for about a fifth of rapes of adult women and between a third and a half of all reported sexual assaults of children. We know sexual assault is underreported. So this is a conservative figure right here. This is a report out of the UK, commissioned by a Labor MP, Sarah Champion. And one of the young men surveyed in her report asked, if I have a girlfriend, do I need to strangle her when I have sex with her? You know, the most common injury now that I'm hearing from girls is choking injuries. Boys are replicating what they are seeing in porn and wanting to do that to girls and thinking that's what girls want because that's what porn has taught them. I had a young woman tell me that her last 4 Tinder dates, she said the men went straight for my throat without even asking. Choking injuries. You know that there's a safe choking guide that's been issued for young people? Safe breath play. What colour to look for in the face to show if she's actually seriously in trouble or not. It shows the ranges of colours to look out for and the changing colour of the face. And then it says, if there's a burst blood vessel in the eye, maybe let her take a breath. This is where we're up to. Teaching that degradation and abuse and violence is just part of routine sex. Now, I have a family friends whose daughter died recently from choking. And the police don't investigate, even though there was a history of violence, because it's called sex games gone wrong. That's what it's called, sex games gone wrong. We are going to see more of these kind of injuries. You've already read this great quote that Di McLeod shared with me, and I won't repeat that. Quotes from young men who I hear from all the time, struggling with porn, describing it as a parasite, describing how it's changed their attitudes towards women, consuming their thoughts. I read a report just recently about boys consuming 6 to 7 hours a day, and interviews with men in their 50s who had been consuming from the age of 9, 10, and 11. The years wasted, the wasted productivity, the wasted opportunities because of porn being all-consuming. And of course, this sexist culture is grooming sexist boys. I'm just going to give you some mainstream examples. Some of you may say, why would you show us this picture? Well, I tell you, that's in your shopping centres. That's in shopping centres all around the country. Honey Burdette, a sex store in family shopping malls with pornified portrayals of women floor to ceiling. At Christmas, they had images of Santa in sexual poses with the models in the Honey Burdette windows, meters from where children were having their photo taken with Santa. Just Easter, just gone. Come to the shopping centre and meet Hop the Easter Bunny. Meters from these pornified, porn-inspired portrayals of women. And there's 2 little girls on an Easter egg hunt in their local shopping mall, and look what they see. Look what they learn about women and what women are for. Just in time for the school holidays, I have slightly edited this for you. This was their new campaign, timed for the school holidays in shopping malls around the country. Now, are we surprised that children are acting out as they are, creating porn-inspired imagery themselves? Have a look at this. The peak event of the Australian sex industry, Sexpo, is allowed to advertise on kids' school buses. If you want to know about Sexpo, don't go, just take my word for it. I went, I wrote a chapter on it in my book, Big Porn Inc., called Sexpo and the Death of Sex. It was the most unsexual experience of my 55 years, just take my word for it. It was grotesque, it was absolutely grotesque. Sexpo is allowed to advertise on school buses complete with the websites of the sponsoring companies, the porn companies that sponsor Sexpo, advertising on the kids' school buses, and this is not even illegal. I'm going to show you what our kids will see. Now, I have censored this, but it's still graphic even though I have censored it, but I want you to know what our kids will see. Hardcore live-streamed webcam sex acts. If they click on the link on their very own school bus. I hope you're feeling outraged about now. Feel free to throw the chairs around, that's fine with me. We'll go out and burn something down afterwards. Because we've been too polite about this, right? We've all been too polite. That's why we are in this mess and our children are suffering. Look at the t-shirts for boys. It's not rape, it's a snuggle with a struggle. We say we care about addressing violence. We're putting millions of dollars into it, but this t-shirt is legal. This was in your state, this giant sticker on the back of cars for men to decorate their cars with. Imagine being a survivor of violence and driving behind that vehicle. We need to work together to interrupt harmful attitudes and behaviours before they have an opportunity to escalate into violence. And I've been working with young men around the country. These are the men that keep me doing this work, because I can tell you, when I wake up in the morning and know that I'm addressing boys on porn and sex, I tell you, it's not my favourite thing to do. It really is. I don't think, yay, how did I get so lucky? I get to talk to boys about porn and sex today. However, there's so few people doing it that I don't feel I have much choice. And these are boys who are interrupting harmful cultural negatives. They're disrupting behaviour of boys. They are speaking out. They're refusing to be bystanders. And they give me hope that change might be possible. The boy top right, 16 years old, Tasmanian High School, public school, interrupted boys who were laughing at the rape t-shirts that I showed. And he confronted them passionately with tears in his eyes. This boy down here in the red t-shirt, I just addressed 5,000 young people at a Catholic youth festival in Sydney. And he stood up and apologised to every girl in the room who'd ever been hurt by a male. The place went ballistic. This boy down here, 15 years old, got me into Knox Grammar, lobbied the principal, said we need this message in our school. Probably the most elite school in the country. 5 prime ministers have come out of that school, and I don't mean the last 5 that we just had. I mean, thought that I'd try that joke out tonight, see how that went. I was able to interview. Just think about this, right? These young men are our future lawyers, judges, God help us, police, law enforcement, and they're all up to their necks in porn, right? What kind of society are we building here if these are going to be the leaders of business and in industry and government, We have to intervene, don't we? And an 11-year-old boy gave me his pocket money in your state, and he said, I just want this to go to the girls who are being hurt. 11 years old, Ryan. So these soft-hearted, sweet boys, give me some hope that change could still be possible. We need to shut out, we need to make a noise, we need to act personally, we need to act politically. I started a movement a decade ago called Collective Shout for a world free of sexploitation. Please sign up tonight, there's sheets outside. We've had some victories, I'll share them with you because you've all turned blue and stopped breathing. I want to give you some good news. God knows I need good news too. Isuzu Car Company had a competition for men win a sex tour of Thailand, win 5 hot nights in Bangkok for you and 5 mates. That's their car parked outside a Thai brothel. We got that cancelled. Zoo Weekly, a lad's Bible. They used the word Bible. Had advice like, if a girl is drunk, that's a green light to help yourself. We got that out of Coles. As a result, the whole magazine went under, ceased publishing. Rape games, we have got rape games banned in Australia. This game is called Rape Play, How to Rape a Mother and her 2 daughters aged 8 and 10. Another rape game, this is more recent, called Rape Day. The whole game is about raping women, the whole game. We got this off the biggest gaming platform in the world called Steam. I'm sorry, this next one is very distressing. Warning, child sex abuse dolls, replica children, being sold through the biggest shopping app in the world called Wish. And we got them off Wish. It's hard to believe we even have to have these campaigns, right? This was a huge win as well. Air Asia, get off in Thailand. Get off in Thailand and abuse some of the most vulnerable women in the world. We had a massive global campaign against Air Asia, and we were successful. Change is possible if enough people decide to care. I've got a lot of resources out there to help you navigate this issue. I'm just going to mention 3 now. These are to try to help you, to help your kids navigate this stuff. Resilient Kids. Based on the Resilient Kids Conference, which will come to Toowoomba next year. All of the expert contributors to that conference in the one book. The Everyday Resilience Journal, a pre-teens guide to friendship, schoolwork and growing up, helping our kids be resilient so they can deal with this toxic sludge that we have allowed to happen. These 2 books are the best books I found on having the conversation about porn with your kids, how to talk to your kids about porn. Parent reads that. Good pictures, bad pictures, you read it with your child. Keep the channels of communication open so if they see something, when they see something, they can talk to you about it, strategies for helping them to deal with that. CollectiveShout.org, we need you, please sign up. A couple of websites I want to recommend, resistporn.org and Fight the New Drug, and I'll be around afterwards to have a chat further about this. Thanks for allowing me to inflict this on you. And thanks for wanting to do something about it. Thanks a lot.